Hello, I'm Frank Luna, and welcome to Making Space. Here we celebrate the inspiring stories of the Valley's LGBTQ+ community and their allies. You're tuned into Arizona Barrio Stories, a proud part of the Latino USA TV and Media Network family. Today, we're welcoming back beloved icon, Latina performing artist, producer, and creative consultant, Carmela Ramirez, for part two of our two-part interview. Carmela Ramirez, the Latina visionary who transformed the Valley's arts and culture. Carmela, in our last segment, we left off talking about your years at Phoenix College and fronting your old high school sweethearts band, and the work that you did with national headliners like Tina Turner, B.B. King, Melissa Manchester, and Herbie Martin, which was just, to me, is just thrilling. So to pick up where we left off with that, by the 1980s, you'd formed your own well-known award-winning bands like Straight City and Linda and Carmela and Phases. And interestingly, you started studying sound engineering, lighting, staging, design, and logistics, skills that are associated with being a producer. What motivated you to take the steps to become a producer and eventually form Mass Productions?
It started in high school, because when I was in high school, especially at North, I was given the opportunity to study, costume design, makeup, the lighting. I took turns at doing everything that I possibly could on putting on a production, because I really saw that. I don't want to sound egotistical, but nobody can do it better than myself if I know what I want on a stage or a set, or when I'm producing somebody. So I learned pretty much all of that as I was on the go in theater. And then when I was on the road, especially with the bands, I was really curious as to the different people who were running sound for us in different cities. Some of them were great, some of them were terrible. So I wanted to learn more about how to run my own sound. So that's when I started studying sound engineering, and I still do that to this day. But I wanted to learn how to operate a venue, everything that they look for, everything from parking in the parking lot to making it on a stage and doing a performance and cleaning up afterwards. There's a lot that goes into a production. It's not just the musica. Right. The musica is the best part, or the performance, of course, but the truth and the reality is there's a lot of work that goes into prepping a good production. Yeah. And I love to produce other people. Yeah. Really, really, really do.
And Carmela, you're right about that. Sometimes you really just have to take the reins yourself. And as a Latina woman, I'm sure at the time it wasn't easy, but you did it. And I think that's why you're so revered by so many people.
Thank you.
In the business and outside of the business. And those that don't know the inner workings of this kind of work, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And you're so good at it.
Thank you so much. But I never went out I never saw myself as a person of color. I saw myself as an artist. Yeah. And I had to keep that in mind as I was growing as an artist or producing other people. It really doesn't matter as long as you can convince the audience of the personality that you're portraying in theater or the song that I'm singing to you. It doesn't matter, what color I am. Yeah. What matters is, am I hitting your heart? Am I touching your soul? That's what's important.
Do you think the theater training helped with that?
I think it helped a lot, because you can almost take on anyone that you want to take on in your head when you're an actor. Yeah. You can become whoever. I can be Patti LaBelle for a day in my own head, or Alice in Wonderland. It doesn't really matter. What matters is my delivery and taking you there with me.
Exactly. In the late 1980s, you broke new ground by joining the City of Phoenix Arts and Culture Parks Division. Yeah. This soon led to a full-time appointment as the Phoenix Center for the Arts Director, where your work is still highly regarded.
Thank you.
For transforming visual and performing arts and arts education for Phoenix. When you reflect on that time during your career, what stands out when you recall all the amazing things that you accomplished during your tenure with the city?
I think what stands out is when they brought me in, I was a part-time employee, and I started running some of their concerts in downtown Phoenix. From there, it grew to the directorship, but through the city of Phoenix, and I'm really, really blessed to have spent all the time that I did with them. They gave me incredible opportunities to produce whatever I wanted to produce, with some parameters, but it was very exciting because I had all the tools. I had their facilities. I had Symphony Hall, the Orpheum. I got to work with the Phoenix Symphony. I got to produce a lot of things that normally wouldn't have been produced by the city because I was a musician from the city itself.
Right.
So I pulled in, of course, all of the people that I knew musically, all the bands that I knew, producers, etc., and we just had fun putting together a lot of great programs and opportunities for the community. Mostly, I was really also concentrating on the underserved, especially our Latinos and our Black kids, and everyone from South Phoenix that did not have the opportunity to go and study, music on their own. Schools were losing it. It's no longer there. It's very, very difficult. So we created the opportunities in Phoenix Center for the Arts and outreach programs in the schools where kids could still study that. On our dime.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very proud of all that we were able to produce there.
Yeah.
Besides the Visual Arts Gallery, I learned a lot about that. I just took the opportunity to swallow it all in and punch it all out with the best that I could.
You were so generous. I remember when I was at Phoenix College and you reached out to us when Evelina Fernandez, you had hosted her. I think it was a Women's History Month or something.
International Women's.
Yeah.
Right.
And you had called me, and we put something together. And we had her out at the college, and our Mecha kids came, and they almost filled up the auditorium at the college.
Right. I remember that.
She was a hit, and we didn't have the budget for something like that. We could never have afforded to bring her in, and it was wonderful.
Oh, that's awesome.
You were known for doing that.
Thank
you.
you.
So generous.
Well, you have to give back, right?
Yeah.
I'm very, very blessed, and I know it. I've had a very, very fortunate life, and I've been loved by, my family and my friends in my community, and nothing gives me more pleasure than giving back. Because as an artist, I think that's what we do. We use our platform to make things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you continue to do so. In 1988, you created Carmela Ramirez,
Right.
a vibrant Latin jazz and salsa band, which immediately gained notoriety across the valley and nationwide. The band has been going strong ever since, with a loyal fan following of not only Latinos, but of all cultures and communities, including the LGBTQ community. Have you observed any changes among your audiences over the years regarding their enthusiasm and support at your shows? For instance, I've heard some performers say, today's younger generations of audiences are wilder and more exciting than, for instance, the baby boomers. Or the LGBTQ audiences are the most fiercely loyal followers any performer can have. So,
I think when I first started with Mas, I had come from singing with R&B bands, jazz bands, and of course my love of music was Latin salsa. I loved it since I was a kid. So when we started the band, it was mostly an Anglo audience. There was hardly any salsa being performed in the valley, and it was Luis Enriquez, who was from the radio station, who introduced me to Abel Valentino, and all of that started the Latin salsa projects for me. As it's grown over the years, people now, more so than in 1988, but now are so interested in the Latino culture around the world.
yeah.
And it wasn't that way here, 15 years ago. It just wasn't.
Sure.
But we're growing so rapidly, and people are more curious. And now we're getting people from all over the world that are moving into Arizona. You've got your Colombians, your Puerto Ricans, your Peruvians, Salvadorians, and they are searching for this music. So I'm happy that I'm able to give that to them and to study them as well as I'm still growing, because there's so many different formats of Latin music. It depends on the country itself. and the tradition and the culture, and it just fascinates me. And I love to be able to have the platform to produce that, put it out there.
Absolutely. Well, we're coming to the end of the interview here, and I want to leave time for Latina Divinas. There's something I'd like to share with you that's, I'd say, personal, and I'm going to recite it or read it off because I spent some time reflecting to write it, and I don't want to miss anything. So I want to say to you, Carmela, and for my circle of close friends that have followed you as well. Speaking for myself, as a Mexican-American Chicano man, born at the tail end of the baby boom generation, I was brought up since childhood to believe that it was a horrible thing to be gay. Like many gay men, I endured my share of trauma, bullying, and abuse from relatives, both close and distant, and so-called friends, for more years than I care to remember. Suffice to say, even now, as a 60-year-old, fully realized gay married man to another man for years, I'm still guarded about sharing my personal opinions in public, primarily because of today's climate in society regarding gay people. However, that said, I want to personally express my deep gratitude and appreciation to you for being an inspiration and personal hero to me and my circle of close friends. I remember there was a time during my adolescence when I was struggling with being gay that your music and talent gave me joy and happy moments during a time that was marked by deep confusion, uncertainty, and depression. Carmela, your resilience, strength, intellect, talent, and beauty as a person, inside and out, is immeasurable.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And I didn't realize until I was preparing for our interview today that we grew up about a mile away from each other in neighboring barrios. So it's a small world.
It is, you know?
So let's wrap up by talking about Latina Divinas 2, which is coming up in September at the Mesa Arts Theater that I'm thrilled about.
Before we go to Latina Divinas, I really do want to tell you, being a gay woman myself, it's interesting for me because when you're an artist, they almost expect you to be exotic.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Different, and it's so acceptable. So I didn't ever really have the pressure that you may have felt, you know, when you were growing up, and I feel bad about that. That anyone should be pressured for being gay. But I know that through the platform, I can still deliver more messages and show a positive aspect of who I am as a person and as a human being for my community. So let's keep doing great things together. Never be ashamed of who we are, and to just keep on bringing out beauty in other people. And love will persist, and it'll win in the end.
That's right.
That's all there is to it.
Well, I honor you and can't say enough.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank. As far as Latinas Divinas, it's going to be a great show, everybody, on September 13th at the Mesa Arts Center at 8 o'clock. And it's a celebration of women in music around the world, Latina women, like Celia Cruz, Shakira, Selena, J-Lo, Rocio Ducal, who else? Jenny Rivera. We're celebrating all of these artists by using the Latina Divinas in Phoenix as well.
Yeah.
So myself and 5 other women are in the show. You can get your tickets on a web link I'm sure that you'll have at the bottom of this interview.
Absolutely.
But do join us if you can. And thank you so much, Frank.
Thank you, Carmela. Thank you very much for being here today.
You're welcome.
And folks, be sure to get your tickets now because the show will sell out. The first one did. And it's a spectacular program. Thanks for joining us today. Until next time.